we talked about the ORV map and all that stuff is free. So people can sign up for it or just drop us an email, give us a phone call. We'd be happy to send things out in the mail to them and hopefully, bring them to the area, have them enjoy it, and come back and visit us over and over again.
Kathy Marin, thanks for joining us on Finding Fairways.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Finding Fairways on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by carlsgolfland.com.
It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
Group of Kalkaska and Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. JC, third week of high school football, a lot of action.
A lot of action. A lot of action, a lot of varied scores.
Yeah, no kidding. Things that we thought would maybe go one way, topsy-turvy. You never know any given Friday night.
Hey, that sounds like a movie.
It almost does, yeah. So.
You and JJ called a great game yesterday. TC West continuing to roll.
Yeah, it is, exactly. A big 28-0 win against Bay City Central. A great night where they honored former Titan Sam DeKuyper.
Yeah.
His family, his mom and dad and sister were honorary captains and did the coin flip this year. So it was just a really cool night. A lot of Titan fans there. So that was super cool to see. And just a beautiful night. I mean, 71 degrees or so at kickoff. And beautiful, beautiful evening in northern Michigan.
This West team, I guess it's a little surprising how well they're performing.
Yeah.
You got to admit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Coach Wagner has taken over in his second year.
Yep.
He's only been there one full year now. And things are coming around. And finding, from the first game, the 6-0 win. So they've had 2 shutouts in 3 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not bad. And so big test next week, though, definitely, with Grand Blanc coming to town. That's a huge school. They're almost double the size of West. That's almost 2,600 kids in that high school.
Well, let's not get the cart before the horse.
Right.
Let's listen to the interview that you did after the game yesterday.
All right. Welcome to the Source Julian post-game show. Rich Calkins alongside head coach James Wagner of Traverse City West. And Coach, big 28-0 win tonight. Once again, another shutout, second shutout in 3 games.
Yeah, defense played great tonight. I was very, impressed by them. They were very stout. I mean, there are a couple of big stops. On a fourth down, a couple of fourth downs that were just, they could have swung the game there. It was down in the end zone there.
Right.
They could have scored there, and they just stepped up big. And there was a fourth down here in the middle of the field that we blitzed on, and we were able to sneak through there. But they just played really, really well. I mean, up front, I was just very impressed with what they were able to do. Our linebackers. I mean, I think our linebackers are excellent players between Popo and Toothman, and you have Dumont, and you have Colton Core, and Cade Laurent, and Cam Mink. I mean, all those guys are just solid football players, and they're just a fun group to watch.
And there was some serious hitting going on.
Yeah, wasn't there?
Oh, my gosh. I think a couple late in that game, Jackson Gallagher, I believe, laid out.
Yeah, it was a great hit.
Oh, it was. I mean, that was textbook.
Those are the ones you get fired up.
Oh, it does, exactly.
Yeah.
That was what you felt throughout the stadium.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah, unofficially, Coach, I mean, you got over 300 yards of rushing tonight. I mean, that was just, between Hendricks and, of course, Sowers and Mank and Esper and Fox.
Fox contributed,
Yeah, he did. Got that nice run around end at the end there. No, it was really cool to see so many kids contribute to this.
Yeah,
team.
and that was kind of our hope. I was hoping we could get some of those guys in. When we were up 21-0 there at the half, we were hoping that we could, kind of put it away there and rotate some guys in. And, we were able to do that, let down the stretch, which was really good, and always builds a bit of depth, which is awesome. So, it's great to always see those guys who work hard and deserve some playing time and get them in. And, we were able to do that tonight. So
Yeah. And, Coach, one of the kids that stood out to us who was going to be our Fox Motors motivated player of the game that got extensive playing time tonight was Cade Laurent.
yeah, Kate.
In that H-back position.
Yeah.
And then he had the best catch of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Laid out and fully caught that. But then his blocking all night really stood out.
I mean, he's just continuing to prove himself week in and week out. Yeah, absolutely. He played his butt off tonight. He's blocking. I mean, he's a big kid that knows how to use leverage, and he's not afraid to hit, and he's athletic, as you could see on that catch. I mean, he's adding to our offense, and he's behind some really good linebackers at defense, and he's a heck of a defensive player too. I mean,
right.
he's just starting to come into his own as a football player and as a Titan. He's absolutely deserving, and I'm super excited about him continuing to move forward in football here and what we're going to be able to do with him in different personnel packages. So
right.
he's just a really good player who's just starting to really discover his role. Absolutely deserving.
And he was a kid that was sick in the offseason there with some pneumonia
Yeah.
stuff, so the conditioning thing is not up to where it's going to be.
Yeah, and that was, it stunk because, right away he was sick and kind of put him behind in terms of playing wise. He missed some practices because it's hard. I mean, you can't be at practice when you're
can't
sick
breathe,
like that.
yeah.
And so he was a little bit behind the eight ball, but we knew what he could contribute, and we're just glad that he's getting that up.
Yeah, it's great to see. And so you, of course, get to call the Jimmy John's Player of the Game, and the Parents of the Week as well.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Isaiah Fox. Isaiah Fox, we gave him the start. He's a little engine that can. He's got the heart of a lion, and just a guy that came in and made some plays on defense, and then he got to run have the ball. The last play there, he got to run the ball.
Yeah.
So, but he's a guy that he has a great attitude. He never complains. He always goes hard in practice, and we gave him the opportunity to play tonight, and he stepped up and made some plays, and it was really sweet to watch.
It's great to see a little guy, being a little guy myself, to be out there along that defensive line, and he's next to the 250, 260-pound kids, and he's just blowing through that line, and he's in the backfield looking for the ball, and it's just really cool to see an undersized kid.
Yeah, and when you're that undersized, it's really hard for offensive linemen to be able to block you. And so we just said, you're tough. Like, let's put you down there and see if we can move you around when you're in there and, stunt you a little bit. And we did, and he was able to get through, which was great.
Yeah.
So Lori Fox, the parent of the game. So,
okay.
Lori, congrats. Isaiah, congrats. It was awesome.
It was, yeah. Great total team effort here again tonight at Thurlby Field. And for next week, we get to stay right here again.
We do. Back at home.
That Grand Blanc team coming to town with those enrollment of over 2,500 kids in that high school. It's like a small college.
Yes.
But, hey, they're a good team. Should be a great matchup.
Yeah, it will be. We're going to get tested. I mean, I know what they're capable of. I know the type of athletes. I'm really curious to see how we're going to match up. And, I think it's just going to be a really, really good opportunity to see where my kids are at. And, no matter what, it's going to be a fight. My kids are not going to be ones to lay down.
Right.
I really like this group. I think they've got some grit about them. They're really tough. They're passionate about playing. And, it'll be a good fight. And we're going to give them our best and see what happens.
Yeah. Look, a great start to the season, 3-0, Coach, and appreciate you spending time with us after the game here on the Source Julian postgame show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could make it up there this time. But appreciate you guys as always, and go Titans.
James Wagner, their postgame interview last night. Always good to talk to Coach, and excited to be off to a 3-0 start to start this 2024 football season.
Yeah, now getting a little ahead next week, a big challenge. They're playing the big boys.
They certainly are.
I don't know what their Grand Blanc.
They're 2-1 right now.
Okay.
Just checking out their they're 2-1. They lost their only loss was to a really good team. When we played them last year down there at their place, is a really cool experience. They probably had 60 or so kids on the football team.
Okay.
So yeah, big group as you would expect from that big of enrollment. A lot of athletes, a lot. So hey, we're going to get tested. That defense will get tested to the nth degree for sure.
They are exceeding expectations, I would say, at this stage of the game. So,
No question.
Coach Wagner got his stamp on the program, and obviously all the kids buying in.
They are 100%. Yeah, they look like they're really having a lot of fun, and we can't.
Well, winning is fun.
Winning is fun no matter what. That's exactly right. And then when you're able to start the second half off on offense, and about over half the kids are the second unit playing on offense to start the second half is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so you're getting some quality playing time against their ones, the opposing team's ones. And so that's just awesome experience for them to see what it's really like. So many juniors played last night. It was just a great night at Thurlby.
Yeah, I was going to say, how was the crowd?
It was on our side. It was amazing.
Okay.
I mean, Bay City didn't bring a whole lot of people.
They haven't, we've noticed that. It doesn't
Yes.
look like any of the Bay City teams travel very well.
They do not. No, they
I don't know what that's about, because some of the teams are pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, the couple of Bay City teams that played last year at Thurlby Field, I mean, there was like less than 100 people.
Right. Yeah, and that was sparse, and that's what our camera view, of course, it shows those empty stands across the way. So it's a big misconception.
Yeah,
you're looking at that, but everyone is sitting below us.
Right.
And those stands were packed.
Yeah.
And they were loud. The bleachers.
Well, that's what you could tell it was loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the bleacher creatures are always loud, especially when they're winning.
Right.
So, as I was telling you, I can't even imagine, for crowd noise for high school games, what we see for the Patriot game is fantastic.
It is.
But, I told you when I was coming in, I saw that my alma mater, Brother Rice, got pulverized by Catholic Central, which is their biggest rival.
Yeah.
And I know what those cheering used to be like.
Yeah.
And Rice is down 14-0 in the first quarter, and then so the CC fans must have been just pouring it on.
I can imagine.
And you can't leave the stadium. It's not a good look.
No, it's nothing you like better than to see your rival be down a little bit, and you just take full advantage of it.
Oh yeah, we see it at Michigan State, and and we'll see what's going to happen with West is having a really good season. Central struggling. Mm-hmm. They had a pretty bad defeat last night as well. Yeah,
they did. Yep, exactly. And
they lost to Davidson 40. What was it? 42 to.
Yeah, it was
7. I'm sorry.
It was
49-14.
Yeah. Again, Davidson's a good team.
Davidson's a good team.
No question.
I'm not saying that any.
Right.
I'm just, but they've started out 1-2.
Right, they're taking their lumps right now, and their hopes. Coach Shiggers is hoping, obviously, by playing that tough kind of non-conference schedule that they'll build and stuff. So once because I'm telling you right now, that Saginaw Valley League is wide open.
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant got beat up by Midland Dow last
I saw that. Yeah.
So it's going to be a wide open. It's open for anybody. It's up for bids right now. So.
It's what? This is our third year in the just the second year. So, no, third year in the Saginaw Valley.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because we played our first year. This is our fourth year of doing Traverse City West games, and so our first year we were still in the Big North.
Yeah, okay.
For football. Yep. And then we switched over to again the Saginaw Valley for football only. Now the last 3 years. So. But it's all good. So when we come back, we'll have head coach of the Kingsley Stags, Tim Wooer, after a
defending state champion.
That's right. Yep, and coming off a big win here in Grayling last night, ran all over them. A lot of yardage put up.
I
the
guess
Stags.
we'll talk to Coach. I'm sure he'll be a lot more informative about a game that neither of us saw.
That's right. Yeah. So you're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show presented by the Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord.
The weather is brought to you by Shanty Creek. It's always a beautiful day at Shanty Creek Resorts. Now with 90 holes, 5 courses, 1 golf destination. To book your stay and play excursion, go to shantycreek.com.
Good Saturday, Northern Michigan. It is 9 and 10 News Chief Meteorologist Michael Stevens, and today is just a gorgeous day. This plain Jane weather is just stacking up one day after another. Plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, and if you have any plans of getting out and about or doing any traveling, it is going to be superb weather for you to do so. The rest of today, mostly sunny. Temperatures mid-70s to mid-80s. Winds are going to be out of the east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, going to be looking at clear skies, as we'll have temperatures again in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Sunday, mostly sunny to sun and clouds with mid-70s to upper 80s. And then going into Monday, high pressure continuing to give us plenty of sunshine, as we'll be in the upper 70s to upper 80s. For 910 News, I'm Chief Meteorologist Michael Stevens.
Votes are in for the Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best Reader's Choice Contest. It was our biggest and best year yet. Find out Traverse City's favorite businesses and professionals on the Traverse City Record Eagles page on Facebook Wednesday, September 25th. Attend the virtual awards ceremony September 25th at facebook.com/TC Record Eagle. And make sure to pick up our Simply the Best Winners publication in the September 25th edition of the Traverse City Record Eagle.
There are a lot of things out there going viral. Dance challenges, health hacks, pet videos. But you can help keep your immune system from going viral and help protect it from the COVID-19 virus by getting the vaccine. The world has enough going viral these days. Talk to your healthcare provider about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Archie Social House will continue the popular Monday night trivia games with burgers and handhelds with a full bar. The best brunches in the north each and every morning and afternoon, as well as the popular coffee bar at Archie's Traverse City and archiesfresh.com.
In search of a new or pre-owned vehicle or need service on your existing vehicle? At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, you'll find the best selection of brand new Fords, certified vehicles, and a wide array of makes and models in every price range. And exceptional service by master certified technicians. At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, knowledgeable employees are local and eager to help their neighbors. You'll experience welcoming smiles, negotiation-free prices, and outstanding service. At Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, they guarantee it.
Hear all the Tiger baseball action on 101 Up North Sports Radio and home of Tigers baseball. Brought to you in part by Odawa Casino Resort. Winning never looks so good. Go to odawacasino.com.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by the Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio with you, and joining us now is head coach of the defending state champs Kingsley Stags, Tim Wooer. And Tim, you had that Russian attack working against Grayling last night as it led you to a big 58-21 win.
Well, we got back on track, and I guess before we get started, I'd like to compliment Grayling. You know, you get into some of these competitive games, and it was an emotional game on both sides and extremely competitive, and you know, there were some tempers that that got going, and you know, that's just a sign of two very competitive communities that love the game of football. And so at this time, I just want to reach out to the Grayling fans and just say, you know, congratulations on a great effort. Your kids played hard, and you know, that's like, just like I said, a sign of two communities that really love the game of football and love their kids. But yeah, to answer your question, I think when you lose the caliber of kids that we had a year ago,
yeah,
you know, you go through some growing pains, and you're trying to put the pieces together, and we're still not there yet. We've got a big game with Boyne City next week, and then St. Francis the following week. So we've got to continue to get better. But you know, I think it's been proven that your first few weeks of the season are always the most important in terms of improvement, and then when you get to about weeks 4, 5, 6, it kind of is what it is at that point. So we're still putting the pieces together. I think we hit a little bit of groove last night. We're getting some confidence and trying to get some playmakers in positions where they can make plays.
Yeah, and Coach, certainly no one can question your schedule to start the season, Coach, coming off that state championship. You started off with Reed City, then you jumped up a couple of classes, played tough Gaylord, and then Grayling, Boyne City, and Traverse City, St. Francis. So, man, Coach, that's a great schedule for fans of high school football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the preseason and our scrimmages and this window of time that we have is just critical that, you know, our kids continue to improve and we put our pieces together. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be battle tested here by midseason, so it's pressure is a good way to get the best out of your kids, and they've handled it pretty well outside of, you know, I thought week 1 against Reed City we kind of lacked some poise and critical situations. That's still a tough game to talk about. But
yeah, Coach, thanks. You know, I understand, you know, the controversy of that game, right? They wasn't there at the last play of the game, well, there was 1 second left on the clock, and they were able to snap the ball and get a score. And I know there was like James Cook from the Record Eagle told us that can they really run a play in a second?
Well, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about I can touch on it, but really that last drive came down to, you know, the fact that we fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line up 6,
right,
and then not having the poise.
Okay.
You know, in a big game, having those young kids in games. You know, you got 2,000 people there. There's a minute and a half left in the game, and the ability as a coaching staff to communicate with players with adjustments and reads and responsibilities. And our young kids just made mistakes to allow Reed City to be in that position.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, so they eventually got the ball down to our 15-yard line with a second. You know, I had a timeout left, thought about using it, didn't think that they could get it off in a second. You know, whether they did or didn't, that's neither here nor there.
Okay, yeah, no, it's the score is the score.
We've talked to our kids about, you know, we were the ones that allowed that game to get in that position where the officials got into that situation where they had to make a judgment call. So, you know, but again, that's the learning of a young team and playing good competition, and you know, so long as you learn from those mistakes and you correct, and I don't think there's ever, you know, I had some parents come up to me, well, that's a character builder, that's a lesson maker. You don't want to hear those.
Yeah.
Not now, at least, right, Coach?
Not right after the game. Right. You know, maybe in 4 weeks we'll talk. Yeah, it turned out to be, you know, good for the team.
I think our kids, and we talk to the kids in terms of, you know, the philosophical vision of a coach. You know, you teach them, and then you might raise your voice a little bit when you teach them, and then you might punish them. Hey, let's do some hits, or on a gas, or we fumbled the ball, or, you know, and then you take away some playing time, or what. There's certain steps that you do in terms of trying to teach kids how to get the correct behaviors. But that loss, and we told them that is the deepest, hardest lesson to swallow right there, and you've got that one's got to sit in your gut for a long time and make sure that you get in the red zone, you get a chance to put a game away. You put a game away,
right?
And you get in a critical situation where the game's on the line. You got to be able to think and communicate with your teammates and make sure everybody understands who they're covering. So I think that we have learned from that. The last 2 weeks we've gotten a lot better, and so hopefully we just keep moving forward.
Coach, well, let me just say something. I understand, that's a critical mistake to fumble the ball on your own 1 yard line to wrap up the game, but your offense is complicated. There's a lot of ball handling in it. So, I mean, I'm sure when you practice, these kids grow up in your system, and I think that's why it's obviously so effective last night. That's the question I was going to ask you guys is the offense you run seems to be able to break huge gain after huge gain. Is that that's got to be a great combination of scheme, how you guys block at the second level, because how many runs of over 25 yards did you have last night?
We had two over 90.
Yeah.
You know,
but it seems like every play you ran was a 15-yard, 25-yard run.
Yeah, not every. I mean, Grayling did a nice job at times, and we had some kids that got out in space and they were able to run away from people. But you know, I think the thing with our offense and St. Francis is similar, but when you play a team that you're playing a team that is physical and you've got to stop the run and you're forced to load up the box. You know, it's kind of a feast or famine thing because they might get you here or there once or twice, but once you pop through the second level, there's nobody else left.
Right.
Now, if you're a spread team and you pop it through the first level, second level, there's defensive backs all over it because they're covering receivers. They can
get back into play.
They can make a tackle and extend that drive. But the teams that really load up the box, you know, once you get through that, it is, you know, people look at the T as being a boring old school 5 yards in a cloud of dust. Now there are going to be games like that, and the Reed City game was very similar to that. They were an incredibly physical defense, but there's also going to be games where people load up the box, and if you get through that first or second level, you're off to the races. So that is the advantage. Like I said, it's feast or famine. When people load up the box, they're going to stop you from time to time, but you'll also have your shots if you can get a hat on a hat.
Yeah. Now, Coach, the kids that are really standing out for you this year, are they the kids that got playing time last year, or were they kids that were just waiting for their turn to play for the Kingsley Stags, and they're really doing well this year?
Well, I think a little bit of both, and something I also didn't touch on. You talked about the system, and this is a great opportunity for me to really compliment our middle school staff, and we've got a Kingsley Jamboree today. You know, our Pop Warner coaches are fabulous. We've got 2 teams at each level, and we've talked about win percentage versus keep percentage, and you know, the importance of those kids having fun and staying in the program. And our youth coaches are just outstanding people, and how you deal with kids and how you don't yell at kids at that level.
Right.
And just make sure that they have fun.
Right.
And at the end of the season, they're disappointed that the season's over. You know, you don't want it to be, my goodness, I'm glad that's over with. But they've done an outstanding job. And to move on to your question, I just think that when you make a run like we did last year, you know, that's 5 extra weeks of practice. You know,
there you go.
Sophomores got to play against Eli Graves and Gavin Merchant and Max Goethals, and they got 5 weeks of practice against those kids, so they're bound to get a lot better. And I think that's the key. Is we lost a ton of kids, but by the time you get to your semifinal and final game, and you're in practice and you're watching the scout team, and you're like, man, that kid's come a long ways in this week 9.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think now were they game ready week 1? No, but you know, there's something to be said for practicing against talented people for an extended period of time in the playoffs.
Yeah. Coach, you had to know that Grayling meant business yesterday with an onside kick to open the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they they opened up with an incredibly tough schedule. With,
they have.
Hudsonville Unity Christian.
Yeah.
They had Claire.
Claire,
game 1.
2 outstanding programs.
Yeah.
And I think Eric told me they still have St. Francis and going yet.
That's next week,
so,
yeah.
But, you know, they came out and they were ready. And they hit and they were physical.
Good.
You know, it's probably one of the better 0-3 teams in the state of Michigan right now. They just they played hard. They were competitive. They were tenacious. You know, they've got some bright weeks ahead of them. They just got to get through the part of the schedule.
Yeah. And, Coach, I really want to just touch base again on what you mentioned just a few minutes ago about your youth program. It's so important to be on the same page as your varsity program, so these kids know what to expect, and to again, let them have fun as youth when there's low expectations. It just, again, enjoy the game of football so they'll continue to play in those higher grades. And again, being on that same page is just huge.
Yeah, I think the T offense is tough to be competitive in those lower levels because, Pop Warner in the middle school, everybody's got a kid that's fast. And
right.
You can game plan how to win games at that level, and it's tough for coaches to swallow that pill as well. But our youth coaches have bought into it. They're doing everything that we've asked, and you're absolutely right. We want kids to play, and if we have 30 kids, we're going to divide them up into 15 and 15, and let them enjoy the game and let them get on the field and learn.
Right.
Well, you've really built something great there, Coach. To lose as many kids as you did, come out of the box, 2-1 in a tough schedule yourself, and like you said, a couple big St. Francis, or you got Boyne next, right?
Boyne, then St. Francis. Yeah. So, but
Boyne City beat Charlevoix 45-21 last night.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just kind of end with this. You said you've built a program, and I haven't. I really haven't, and I think that is evident with what we just talked about with our youth coaches, our middle school coaches, and our varsity staff is outstanding, and our parents are outstanding, and then obviously we have outstanding kids that are committed in the weight room, and they're extremely coachable, and they do what's asked of them. So it is truly a community program.
Right.
So I will just say thank you and say that we have built something special.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the expectation, you guys always live up to the expectation, and the expectation is excellence.
Yeah.
So, that's all you can hope for when, as a football coach or an athletic director, is, it's like St. Francis. The excellence is expected, and when you continue to live up to that, no matter who graduates, I'm complimenting you. I'm complimenting everybody.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time and all the compliments, and look forward to a good second half of Northern Michigan football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, head coach of the Kingsley Stags, Tim Moore, thanks for your time. We appreciate it, and best of luck next week against the Boyne City Ramblers.
Thank you so much. Go Stags.
All right.
Go Stags.
It's Superhero September with NCACU, and the 6th annual Super Main Event is September 14th with new events this year. Raising money for the Northern Michigan Children's Assessment Center to empower children suffering from abuse. Be a part of the Kids Fun Run, a family safety fair with local community heroes, a Spider-Man themed 5K, face painting and games, interact with the Competition Corvette Club, and play some Glow Disc Golf. Get all the details and donate at ncacu.org or your local branch.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Fall into fortune with the Raking in the Dough giveaway at Saguenay's Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. One guest every Friday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. will get 1 minute to rake through a pile of leaves to find the golden leaves. Collect as many golden leaves as you can to win your share of $87,600 cash. Only at Saguenay Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit saguenay-eagleslanding.com for complete rules and details.
Attention barbecue lovers. Stop by the Iron Pig Smokehouse in downtown Gaylord. We're open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. for lunch and dinner and serving breakfast Friday through Monday at 9 a.m. No reservations needed and large parties are always welcome. Try our new catering on the fly and order everything from pounds of meat to build your own buffets 48 hours in advance. Visit ironpigsmoke.com for more details and come see us just off I-75 exit 282 in downtown Gaylord.
In search of a new or pre-owned vehicle or need service on your existing vehicle? At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, you'll find the best selection of brand new Fords, certified vehicles, and a wide array of makes and models in every price range. And exceptional service by master certified technicians. At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, knowledgeable employees are local and eager to help their neighbors. You'll experience welcoming smiles, negotiation-free prices, and outstanding service. At Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, they guarantee it.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by the Sarah Auto Group of Kalkaska and Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is head coach of the Gladwin Flying G's, Mark Jarsfer. And Mark, you expected this hard-fought battle against Ogama Heights, and it lived up to that hype. It came out on the short end of a 12-7 score.
Yeah, absolutely. They were everything that we kind of anticipated as far as, being really big and physical and just a hard-nosed style, almost a throwback style team to, back in the day. And they're just really good at what they do. We played them tough defensively for, basically the entire game. They had a drive right before half that was about 8.5 minutes. They went 80 yards and they scored a touchdown on that, and then we returned the kick, and then they didn't have another long drive that resulted in points until their last drive of the fourth quarter. And so, defensively we played really well and kind of matched the physicality, but at the end of the day we were 0-3 in the red zone and just couldn't make those crucial offensive plays when we had an opportunity.
Was that on execution on your part, Coach, or their really good defense on theirs, or a combination of both?
I would say it was a combination of both. Like I mentioned, they're a really good team. When you look at their resume over the past 10, 12 games of teams that they've beat, it's maybe as impressive as anybody in the state as far as the caliber of teams that they've knocked off. So they're playing really, really good football. I think they've beat either 5 state champions or runners-up of state championship games over the last year or two worth of seasons in their last 10 or 12 games. I think it was Gladwin twice now, Ubley, TC St. Francis, Kingsley, Alma, and so those are some big-name teams that they're going toe-to-toe with and knocking off. And so they're a great program. They make our life difficult, and we just got to find a way to come up with those clutch plays in those crucial moments.
Yeah, Coach, was a big crowd at Ogama Heights last night?
Yeah, it was an awesome environment. It's for the listeners that haven't been there. It's kind of cool to have all the stands on the one side. It's a massive, concrete stadium structure with a really awesome big press box, and so all the fans are on the same side. So when you're the away team, you're looking into that and constantly hearing that all game, and the band going, just kind of paints the picture of everything you'd want out of a Friday night.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Coach. You know, and I know, and this is their first year now in the Jack Pine Conference, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, this is their first year. So, you know, we had quite a streak going in the Jack Pine. Obviously, it wasn't as tough as it is now, currently bringing in Ogemaw, Standish, and Bullet Creek. But, yeah, I think we had won 19 straight in the Jack Pine, and this was a tough opener. And, you know, we played it tough right down to the wire, but just couldn't come out with the win.
Yeah, Coach, and like you said, you know, again, in these big games against really, really good teams, when you get into the red zone and you're just not able to cash in, a lot of times that ends up being the difference between winning and losing.
Right, yeah, like I said, we were 0-3 in the red zone, and when you look at it, you know, final score 12-7, we only needed to cash in once, right? Like,
yep.
So it just didn't get it done. But, you know, that's a great coaching point. And, you know, it'll sound like coaches speak, but you truly do learn a lot more about yourself and your team in times of adversity and with the losses than you do in those big wins like we were able to have in weeks 1 and 2. And so we'll definitely learn from it. There's going to be lots of things that we can kind of cut up on film and coach our guys up on. And that's the beauty of playing a really tough regular season schedule. Granted, you get enough wins to get into the playoffs, but, you know, if you do, you're going to be battle-tested and have a chance to really put a good foot going forward into the playoffs.
Coach, not having been at the game, and this is certainly, you know, Monday morning quarterbacking, but when you look back on it now, should you have kicked field goals in the red zone, you know, if you were having that much trouble moving the ball on second and third down?
Yeah, so we did attempt one field goal in one of those red zone attempts, and, you know, it was where we were in 4th and 4, I believe, and then we had a false start penalty or something like that, and so then it backed us up to 4th and 9.
Right.
And so we attempted the field goal, which would have been like a 37-yarder, and I think it landed maybe a foot or two short of the crossbar, and so you know, and then the rest of our trips were right around that range, and so when you start getting into like the comfort level, confidence and stuff like that, and then the other situations, the two other red zone trips were much shorter than 4th and 9. I want to say they're like 4th and 4, 4th and 3. Actually, there was a 4th and 1 in there, I know, and they just absolutely swarmed to the ball and stumped us. And so, you know, it's obviously easy to do some of the arm quarterbacking, and I think we played the situations, you know, right, but I think certainly we could have went with a little different play call or something like that in hindsight on some of those, because, you know, you're looking at it this morning and it's like, dang, there were things there and there were opportunities. But you got to love technology too. You know, we have all these fancy replay systems and all of that stuff. And of course, for us, they were down the entire first half. And so, you know, you really count on those things. And then in the big games, that's when you have trouble with them. So,
well, that's being a head coach. That's, you know,
for next week.
You know, everybody yells at Campbell when he goes for it and doesn't get it, and then he's a genius when he doesn't. So, you know, that's part of being the head guy on the sideline.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, you know, we got plenty of season to look forward to, though, and like I said, we'll definitely learn from this. And it doesn't get any easier for us. We have the Clare Pioneers this week, who have traditionally been one of the best teams in our area. And controlled our league for a very long time before our recent success, and it's turned into quite the rivalry. And so doesn't get any easier for us. So we got to take how to, you know, pull our boots up and get back to work.
Yeah. Now, Coach, also, did you not kind of cut your teeth as an assistant coach at Clare?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And so I was I played football at Clare for Kelly Luplo, head coach there.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And then you know, as soon as I graduated, like I graduated that May, and then I was coaching with them that June as a freshman assistant, and I did that for 6 years, and then I was the JV head coach there for 6 additional years, and so had a great opportunity to learn there, and I actually still live about 500 yards away from the Clare football field.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, I was there for 12 years as a coach, and obviously played my entire career there. And so, yeah, we know each other very well. That definitely adds to the rivalry. You know, all of the coaches that are there, I you know, coached against or with and now against. And many of them coached me as a player, and so definitely adds to the weekly emotion of it, but it certainly makes it fun as well.
Well, that coaching staff must be all in walkers and wheelchairs and stuff.
Come on, I'm not that old yet.
Just kidding.
Games like last night are aging me much faster, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, but Coach, it's a home game for Gladwin, so you got to like that after, again, that tough road defeat at Ogama.
Yeah, I mean, it gets us back into the comfort of Brockhoff Field, and we have a great supportive community, and there's nothing quite like a big time showdown that has major implications for the playoffs. And
yeah, that's going to be a serious Friday night lights event. One thing about building a program and having success, coaches, like the whole town will be shut down and everybody will be there, and it just makes it that much more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. Like our community is just so supportive, and there'll be 2,000 people there. Many from both sides, and it turns into quite the event. And it is crazy. You look at kind of the way that the D5 playoffs may shake out, and there's a very good possibility. I would almost call it more probable than not, just based on years' history, that our district would be, potentially Kingsford, Ogama, Clare, and Gladwin. So likely you're going to see these teams again. Obviously there's a few teams up north. I'm not sure what that Sheboygan score ended up last night, but we've been kind of monitoring them because I think they were 1-1 going into this week.
Yeah, they won, I think. Yeah.
Did they?
Yes.
So that could definitely break that district up if you get any of those more northern teams in.
Yes.
With us, and so but if not, then it's likely going to be that district, and so get an opportunity to at least play one or both of them again potentially in the districts, regardless of what happens in the regular season. And so we can't just sit and sulk on this one. We got to constantly keep getting better and pushing forward.
Yeah, no doubt. I do not. Sheboygan beat Elk 30-23.
Okay, so that was a good game. They're off to a good little start there. 2-1 through 3 weeks.
Right.
That's good for them.
Okay. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you joining us. Again, a great battle last night. Best of luck against the Clare Pioneers on Friday night.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks. Mark Jarsfer of the Gladwin Flying G's, state champ just a couple years ago.
Yep.
So quality coach, and has really got that Gladwin program.
Well, no, I mean, Ogama Heights last year had a super season, very physical. Like we said, surprising. We talked to James Cook about them.
Yeah.
We thought they'd be huge.
Right.
And then found out they're just nasty.
Right, exactly. They play huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you get hit by them, you think it's got to be by a
Holy
bigger
God,
person,
how does that kid not weigh 300 pounds?
Right, but super tough. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to talk to Josh Sellers from Traverse City St. Francis. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord.
Votes are in for the Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best Reader's Choice Contest. It was our biggest and best year yet. Find out Traverse City's favorite businesses and professionals on the Traverse City Record Eagles page on Facebook Wednesday, September 25th. Attend the virtual awards ceremony September 25th at facebook.com/TC Record Eagle. And make sure to pick up our Simply the Best Winners publication in the September 25th edition of the Traverse City Record Eagle.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
One of the fantastic things about summer in the north is dining outside, and no one does al fresco better than Benetham's. The outdoor space doesn't have traffic speeding by, a quiet, beautiful setting to enjoy the new summer menu. You can even sample the Benetham's happy hour from 4 to 6 outside. A fantastic way to enjoy many of the amazing flavors from the kitchen and the creative cocktail menu. Visit Benethams.com and make your reservation today. Benethams, for the true love of food.
In search of a new or pre-owned vehicle or need service on your existing vehicle? At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, you'll find the best selection of brand new Fords, certified vehicles, and a wide array of makes and models in every price range. And exceptional service by master certified technicians. At Sarah Gaylord and Sarah Kalkaska, knowledgeable employees are local and eager to help their neighbors. You'll experience welcoming smiles, negotiation-free prices, and outstanding service. At Sarah Gaylord and Kalkaska, they guarantee it.
It's Superhero September with NCACU, and the 6th annual Super Main Event is September 14th with new events this year. Raising money for the Northern Michigan Children's Assessment Center to empower children suffering from abuse. Be a part of the Kids Fun Run, a family safety fair with local community heroes. A Spider-Man themed 5K, face painting and games. Interact with the Competition Corvette Club and play some Glow Disc Golf. Get all the details and donate at ncacu.org or your local branch.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hometown feel and big-time winning. That's Saginaw Eagles Landing, the place where everyone greets you with smile after smile. In the casino, at the restaurants, or in the hotel, this is a getaway that makes you feel right at home. We've got hundreds of slots, great food, and a comfy place to stay. So come on in and see what the good times are all about. Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit saginaw-eagleslanding.com for complete rules and details.
Catch all the action of Tiger baseball on Up North Sports Radio.
Brought to you in part by Johnson's Propane. It's never too early to lock in your price for the season ahead at johnsonspropane.com.
Up North Sports Radio, home of Tiger baseball.
Okay, joining us now is head coach Josh Sellers of Traverse City St. Francis. And coach, took the long trip down to Berrien Springs and came out on the short end of a 28-14 score.
Yeah, we went down and made the trip like you said, and our JV started the day off well with a 28-6 victory in the first game of a doubleheader, and we went down and proceeded to turn the ball over 4 times during the game.
Yeah.
And Berrien Springs, to their credit, they capitalized on those turnovers. We dug ourselves a hole for the second week in a row in the first half, and we were down 21-0 near the end of the second quarter. We were able to get in the end zone with the Harrison Shepard touchdown run. And so we go into halftime, we're down 21-7. Berrien Springs gets the ball coming out of the half. We're looking, of course, to make a stop and score ourselves, and they marched the ball down the field 80 yards and put it in, and now we're back down to a 3-touchdown deficit.
Yeah, and Coach, Berrien Springs, reading a little bit about them, they were a team that really hadn't found their offensive flow yet in their first couple of games. So they had, when those turnovers happened, that was kind of probably the catalyst for them to finally punch it in the end zone and start scoring some points.
Yeah, you can't give a team like that with a lot of dangerous weapons short fields to work. We talked all week how they were 0-2, but they had lost to 2 good teams in Kalamazoo, Hackett, and Pawpaw week 2. And this was their home opener, and we knew that they were going to be sky high emotionally to show off well for the home crowd, and that's exactly what they did, and we couldn't match their intensity.
Well, you know, sometimes, Coach, everybody knows who St. Francis is, and you always get everybody's best game. And you probably gave them a couple of short fields with a couple of the turnovers, and that's really hard to overcome.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Our offense, we took the ball first, and we went forward on another 4th and short in our own end, like we did the week before. And again, we failed to convert, but our defense bowed up and kept Berrien Springs out of the end zone, which was good to see. But you know, you can, as you guys know, you can only give an offense so many short fields before you finally pay the price.
Yeah, that's and then, of course, I'm sure the team's going to learn from something, but I know there's a super long bus ride home with it. To have that defeat sit in your belly is just no fun.
Well, that's absolutely 100% correct. I guess maybe a tiny silver lining would be the way that the atmosphere was on the bus on the way home. It was a very, very, as it should have been, a very quiet ride home.
Yeah.
Contemplative ride home, I hope, for a lot of the kids. And, you know, it's in the past is what we told them after the game. We're going to learn from this. We're going to watch film on Monday. We'll learn our lesson, and then we're going to close this chapter of the book, and then hope to improve and get back on the right track against Grayling next week.
Yeah, and Coach, I can imagine it'll be a spirited practice the first couple of days of next week.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. We can't. We're making it a habit of coming out lackadaisical in the first half, and that's my fault for not getting the team up and ready to go. There'll be, there'll be some soul searching, football specific. You know,
right.
This isn't the end of the world. We got to keep everything in perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, we need to make some strides in practice this week for sure.
Well, not excuse. There's no excuses when you're playing at the level that you guys are playing at. But what was that? A 4-hour bus ride?
You know, it's about 3.5. But I mean, we've got cushy seats and air conditioning, and I loved it. I didn't have to drive anywhere. It was great. So I feel bad for our fans that had to make that long trip down and back, and then I find out that we've got some of our kids taking the ACT this morning, and I'm like, whoa, that's a big challenge.
Yeah, it is, Coach, for sure. And like you said, keeping it in perspective, when we talk about these things, we're always talking football-wise and life skills and things like that. Like you said, it's not the end of the world.
No, absolutely not. And that's what we talk about with our kids. It's faith, family, academics, athletics, and then everything flows after that.
Yeah.
So, right. This will be a good learning opportunity, I hope.
Well, you're going to – Grayling's had started off with a really rough beginning of the season, and I'm sure your guys are going to be hungry. They're going to be hungry too.
Well, it's kind of the same thing again, right? So Marion Springs is 0-2. We talked about how they're a wounded animal, and that's a very dangerous opponent to go against. Coach Tunney's going to have his Vikings ready to go, looking for their first win too. So we better have our heads screwed on straight and ready for their best.
Yeah, and you certainly, Coach, you're going to guard against them. Looking forward to playing Kingsley the week after. So yeah, this is the consummate trap game.
Yeah, it could be. I think maybe the situation changed a little bit after last night's performance and loss.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll be all laser focused on Grayling this week, and we take it 1 week at a time.
Coach, where is that in Grayling?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, we've never met before, so I'm going to come to that game and stop by and say hello. So
I would love to put a name with the face.
Rich is still going to have to do the TC West game, but I'm going to come down. I love seeing you guys play. Like I said, I was at the game a couple years ago when Country Day came in because Coach McLean's a real close old friend of mine, but I look forward to meeting you.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right.
All right, Josh Sellers, we appreciate it. We got to cut it short because we got a hard out here at 11 o'clock. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Josh Sellers from Traverse City St. Francis there. He's just a great
Yeah,
great
no, like
guy.
like I said, I really do want to meet him. I'm trying to remember Coach Finnegan, who's the basketball coach at St. Francis. Great guy.
Yes.
And I love meeting these guys in person because then they see that I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, well, I've had the luxury of meeting him and interviewing him live in person, so that was cool.
Yeah, Rich, we wanted to end. You and I had talked about it yesterday before we went on the air.
Yes.
But I wanted to note the passing of Joe Schmidt. Died yesterday at the age of 92. He was a close family friend, a business partner of my father's. Quite probably the greatest Detroit Lion of all time. Not only a 3-time world champion linebacker with Bobby Lane, a Hall of Famer, one of the few the last winning record coach for the Lions. I think what's his name, Wayne Fonts might have had like a winning record.
Yeah,
But Joe was a fantastic human being, super funny. And I tried to work together with him to write a book about Bobby Lane because he had so many great stories about Bobby Lane. And I'll see if I could fit this in quick enough. So when he was first drafted by the Lions, George Wilson put him in charge of Bobby Lane because Lane was just a wild man.
Oh, seriously?
So he brought Lane into the office.
So he's a
and he
rookie.
Goes, and he goes, Bobby, give Schmidt your car keys. So he's driving you all of this is during training camp at the beginning.
Right.
Okay. And Schmidt had just gotten married. So, 2 days later, he gets a call. Schmidt gets a call at midnight. He's in bed with his brand new bride, and it's Bobby Lane. He's like, Rook, come and get me. He goes, what? What are you talking about? He goes, we're going out. I'm not going out. He goes, Mickey's in town. He's talking about Mickey Mantle.
Oh, seriously?
Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin are at the Flame, which was the biggest, oldest black nightclub. And so he goes, Mickey Mantle? Okay, I'll meet Mickey Mantle. He picks him up, goes to the Flame, and there's Mantle, Billy Martin, Joe Schmidt, and Bobby Lane. And he goes, I've never seen three guys get drunk faster than this in my life. And then he's looking around. He's talking to Mickey for a couple of minutes, and he turns around, and Lane is gone. And he's like, oh, my God, what's happening? And they're all hitting on the black waitresses and everything else. And Bobby Lane is on stage dancing with the Four Tops.
At least he didn't leave the building, so he didn't leave his sight. So that's good.
He's got 100 Bobby Lane stories. He was such a wonderful guy. And, a lot of the generation, people just go, Joe Schmidt. I'm telling you, he was a special human being.
Right. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, heart out. We're going to the Michigan pregame here right at 11 o'clock.
All right.
Join us next week.
So it's up to us to bounce back from that. Don't let it determine the rest of our season.
You got to get over it. We got to learn from it though. Have some fortitude and strength to get better.
We got to do what we know we're supposed to do. We got to be more detailed, and Derek's got to be up there more. I think it gives us a great opportunity to kind of reflect and look in the mirror and move forward.
Every guy knows that you can't get too high, you can't get too low. It's all about how you respond.
You can't let that loss give us another loss.
That pain won't leave your mouth till you get another W. So definitely ready to go back on the field.
Michigan football is on the air. Welcome to the pregame show. Over the next hour, we'll break down today's key storylines and visit with players and coaches. Wolverines football is brought to you by Absolpure, the official bottled water of Michigan athletics. The Michigan Gaming Control Board. Learn how to play it smart when you're gambling. Visit don'tregretthebet.org. And by Barbasol, America's #1 shaving cream. Close shave, America. Close shave, Barbasol. Now, let's go to the stadium. Here are the voices of Michigan football, Doug Karsh and John Jansen.
15 games last season, 15 wins. And the question throughout last year was, how do you handle success? The Wolverines handled it well. And now, head coach Jerome Moore and his staff, how do the Wolverines handle the other side of that coin? How do you bounce back from a big loss? Hi again, friends. Doug Karsh alongside the captain, John Jansen. And John, you've been in this situation before. How is it best handled?
The same way you want. You got to go back to work. You handle it the exact same way. There are things you got to correct. There are things you got to continue to do well. But you have to be able to put in the work so that when you get to game day, the next game, and because it's painful, it's 6 days away. Now all of a sudden you're here. All that work should translate into being able to go out there and find success.
You mentioned some things to work on. Offensively, issues, third down, explosives. Let's start with third down. It's often related to the distance to go. Michigan has to find a way to move the chains.
They do. They got to find a way to get some yardage on